Alright, so part 3 here. We've had a nice little break. So we just finished problem A on the try these, and we got an answer of 26. Remember, this one was a little bit tricky because you had to, you were given one of the parts and the whole, and you had to realize that, oh, we can just make the other part the same amount because the y is the midpoint. And then from there you can do part plus part equals the whole. So that one's a little bit different than the problem that we did up here, where you were given the two parts with a midpoint and you could just set the two parts equal. Alright, so go ahead and pause the video and try B and C. I'll tell you that one of them is like this example and one of them is like part A. So see if you can find the solutions to both of those, and then we'll go over it. Alright, so let's go ahead and do part B. So it tells us that M is the midpoint RS. So let's put M in the middle of R and S. Remember, it's a midpoint, so those two segments are the same, as indicated by those little tick marks. We call those tick marks that I just put on the segments. So let's label each piece we know. We know RM is x plus 3, and we know MS is 2x minus 1. And they want us to find x and RM. So if those two, we've got each part, and we know the two parts are congruent, so we can just set them equal. X plus 3 equals 2x minus 1. Subtract x from both sides. 2x minus x is x. And then just add 1 to both sides, so x has to equal 4. So x is 4, but they want us to find Rm, so we have to plug in 4 into the expression for Rm. Rm is x plus 3, so we'll just do 4 plus 3, that's 7. Alright, now let's look at the second problem, part C. So same picture. We still have M as the midpoint for R and S. But now our expressions that we're given are different. They give us Rm as x plus 6, but they give us Rs this time, which is the whole thing. And they say that Rs is 5x plus 3. So we're given the whole and we're given a part. Well, if M is the midpoint, then the two parts are the same. So the other part's also x plus 6. Now we can do part plus part equals the whole. Notice the two different types of problems. On the first one, we just set the two parts equal because we know they've got to be equal since M is the midpoint. On this one, we've got an expression for two parts and the whole, so we've got to do part plus part equals the whole. You can't just say x plus 6 equals x plus 6 and set the two parts equal. Of course x plus 6 equals itself, right? So that's not going to help us. So we have to do part plus the other part equals the whole. And we solve x plus x is 2x, and 6 and 6 make 12. Remember, on the same side of the equal sign, we just combine like terms together. We don't have to subtract or anything like that. Now, we have to subtract 2x because we're moving it to the other side. So when you got to move it across to combine, you got to do the opposite. 5x minus 2x is 3x. Then subtract 3 from both sides. So 3x equals 9. And then lastly, we divide, rewrite it up here, divide both sides by 3, so x equals 3. So x is 3 for the second part, for part C. Now to find Sm, we have to plug in 3 for the expression for Sm. The expression for Sm is x plus 6, so it's 3 plus 6, which is 9. So Sm is a length of 9. Okay, so one thing to be aware of when we're dealing with midpoints and segments is the term bisect. So bisect is a term, sounds kind of like dissect, and it's kind of similar in a way, right? So when you think of dissect, you think of cutting open, you know, like dissecting frogs in science class. You cut open a frog, right? So sect means just like cut it into pieces. Bi, like a bicycle, means two, right? So bisect means we're going to cut it into two equal pieces. The key word being equal, right? You got to divide it into two equal pieces. So in geometry, anytime we say that something bisects something else, we mean that it cut it into two equal pieces. So see if you can use that knowledge to figure out an answer for question 14 right here. All right, if line segment WZ bisects segment XY at point P, what are two conclusions you can draw? All right, and it might help you out if you draw a picture. So pause the video, try to draw that, and see if you can figure out two conclusions from that. Okay, so we were told that WZ bisects XY at point Z. So you just want to draw a picture of that. So we've got segment XY, and WZ is coming in and hitting Z at the middle, right? So if it bisects it, right, it cut it into two equal pieces. So that means the XZ has to be the same as YZ, which is one of the conclusions we can draw. We can say, all right, XZ has to equal YZ. That's one of our conclusions because it got cut in half at Z. So Z must be in the middle, right? So then what's the second thing we can say? Well, Z has to be what? If it's in the middle, Z is the midpoint. So Z is the midpoint of segment XY. So those are the two conclusions that we can draw from that statement. All right, so moving on, let's see if you guys can do the check your understanding problems at the bottom. So just work on 15, 16, 17, and 18 to check your understanding, and that'll be the last thing we'll do. And then you can do your exit ticket. So give those a try, and we will go over them, and we'll be done. Pause the video, try them out. Go, now, hurry, go. Okay, so number 15, how to find the distance between 2 points. We've talked about that. You just subtract the coordinates of the point. Do the big one minus the little one. That'll give you the length between the 2 points. Okay, Mikai knows that GH is 7 and HJ is 7. Based on this information, he claims that point H is the midpoint of GJ. Is his claim necessarily true? Make a sketch to support your answer. The answer is no. Claim is not true because it never said that GH and J are collinear, which means on the same line. So it could look like this, GH and then JH, but notice how J is not on the same line with G and H. So in that situation, H is not the midpoint because it's not the middle of G and J. All right, so 17, so let's actually work this one out. It says that T is the midpoint of JK. So T is the middle of JK, and it tells us JK is 5x minus 3. All right, so 5x minus 3, and JT is 2x plus 1. And it says determine the length of JK. So we've got the whole, we've got the part. We know T is the midpoint, so that means the two parts have to be the same. So now we can say part plus part equals the whole. When we add the two parts, 2x plus 1 and 2x plus 1, we get 4x plus 2. So all I did, I just took these two and added them together in my head. 2x and 2x is 4x, 1 and 1 is 2. And that's got to equal your whole. So I just did a little mental math there to save myself some writing. So I got 2 equals 5x minus 4x is 1x. Then I add 3. So I get x equals 5. But the question didn't ask for x. Remember, we got to pay attention to what the question wants. It wants us to find the length of JK. So JK was 5x minus 3. So I've got to plug in 5 into that. 5x minus 3. 5 times 5 is 25. Minus 3 is 22. So the answer to 17 is 22. All right, and then 18. 18 says AB lies on a number line. The coordinate of point A is 6. Given that AB equals 20, what are the two possible coordinates for point B? The two possible coordinates are negative 26 and 14. All you would need to do is subtract 20 from negative 6 and add 20 to negative 6, and that would give you your two possibilities. All right, so appreciate you guys watching this rather lengthy lesson. Go ahead and do the exit ticket and then do some practice.